like to welcome y'all to another edition of the Major Music Lounge podcast, joined by the homie Ruqone. What's good, my brother?
Yo, what's up, Dot? How you feeling, man?
Oh man, chilling on it, man. Just a beautiful Saturday out here in Dallas, and you know, uh, wrapping up that project that we started a couple of months ago. We're gonna get into some of that, man. But just enjoying life, trying to stay busy, man. What about yourself? How you been?
Oh man, everything's good, man. Staying busy. Glad to have baseball back. That's my first love
Yeah,
behind my wife
yeah.
and kids. So, happy about that. Getting to a game. My birthday coming up here in a week. I'm gonna be out at Sox Park checking out some baseball. So
Okay, all right, man.
waiting on that album to drop.
Yeah, man. I'll be listening to what we got, and yeah, I think there's gonna definitely be a banger, man. One of the things, man, like I gotta ask about baseball is being that you got two teams in your city. Are you team Cubs or are you team White Sox?
Well, people here ain't gonna want to hear this answer, but I'm team baseball. I'm a baseball fan first,
Okay,
Sox fan second. But I go to Cubs games. Like my kids, they like going to Cubs games. They like Wrigley
okay.
Field. They like Sox Park too. But Wrigley is a nice experience. It's different. It's a much older stadium, so it's different than going to Comiskey, where I'm old enough to remember going to the old Comiskey. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
All
Going with my dad and my cousins and stuff. So I don't, I'm that old. but
right.
yeah. But I'm a Sox fan though, for real.
Okay,
White
all right.
Sox.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have much of a squad. Like I'm kind of like yourself. I like players more than I like teams. But
Okay.
I may like support the Rangers if they're doing something out here. Other than that, I don't really have a squad, man. I just kind of watch to watch, man. And it's not like, being a Raiders fan or like a Pistons fan or nothing like that.
Hmm.
Just yeah, I just like to watch, man. I used to play years ago, but up until I got in high school and then I stopped playing baseball, but I always had a
Uh,
interest in it. Yeah,
yeah,
man.
man. To me, it's not to knock any other sports. 'Cause I love those too, but to me, it's the most thinking man of when it comes to sports. You really got to think when it comes to baseball. You can't be too reactionary.
Yeah.
So even when you hitting, you got to think. You got to react to the ball, but you still got to think of what you're looking for as you react. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So let's get into a little bit of the music here.
All right,
You've
all
been
right.
really grinding, man. So, you got projects with Ezekiel, you got Rough Draft, you got Miss Outlaw, then you got the project that me and you just did. What's that kind of been like? It's pretty much seemed like it's happened from our last interview up until now. You've kind of got those projects in and maybe even a little more in between, but what's that been like for you?
Well, a lot of that stuff since our last interview was, in the works. I had songs like, Ezekiel mentioned in you guys' interview. We had songs, but we added a couple more and put a project together. Me and Ruff, we got songs now. He's sitting on something, a project that may be coming here in the summer. Like, we'll talk about that later, but we got a bunch of songs. And then, Miss Outlaw, I send her stuff. She writes to it, sends me like little pieces of stuff that she's done with it, but we're still formulating something. And then, I had a bunch of beats, I was talking to one of our mutual friends, shout out to Calvin down there in Florida.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we were talking about purging our beat stashes, you know what I'm saying? So I was going through, I put out one of the beat tapes, one of my one by one volume series, volume 3 that came out last month. But as I was going through beats for that, I decided, man, like a lot of this shit sucks. Excuse my language, but a lot of it wasn't good. So I mean, you're your own worst critic. So I'm like, man, I need to purge these beats. But I wonder, do other producers do that? Do they just go through and listen, like, man, this is terrible. I don't know what I was thinking, and then throw it away. So in the process of coming up with the 11 tracks for the one by one beat tape, I threw out maybe 40% of my beats, man, straight up. A lot of beats are just they're in the wastebasket in my Dropbox. So yeah, so I say all that to say, stuff was just as in the workings, and sometimes like with that Ezekiel the Prophet project, stuff just kind of out the blue happens, and then sometimes, with a project like what we're doing, it takes a few months for it to build up, and then that kind of births itself, you know.
Yeah, man. I totally like I agree with you in the aspect of like purging beats and things along those lines. But like what also happens, the weird thing is beats that I don't like is usually the ones that an artist might say, Dot, I want to get on this, man. And it's like
Man,
it's a very thin line between, do I want to put this out or how does that work? Because it's even happened like artists come in the lab and they're like, man, what's playing? And I like just some shit I made a while back. And like, is it available? And then they end up rapping over it. So it's like, you never know who's gonna like something that you don't like, and sometimes you may just have to keep it around.
I need somebody around when I'm purging because it's kind of like on the times that I go digging with my wife for like vinyl and stuff. Like if she's not there to smack my hand and say, "All right, that's enough, $200 or whatever is enough to spend on records," or "Why are you buying this? Trying to buy this $50 limited edition record?" You slash my hand, snacks. I need that. I need somebody to. Okay, that's enough. You don't need to throw all these beats out. You know what I'm saying? But nobody was around that day, and like I said, maybe close to half of my beats I threw out. So.
With that kind of being said, man, whenever you have all of your beats or you're going through them, whatever that looks like, do you ever listen to something and say, hey, this might fit Dee Dot, or this might fit Ezekiel, or this might fit Miss Outlaw? Do you ever go through your beats and maybe have those thoughts like that?
Man, that's how you wound up with which one of them beats almost hit the cutting room floor? Uh I think it was actually a beat that I lost the session for what's the song? Nowadays.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I lost the session for that, but that beat, I mean, it pretty much was on the cutting room floor. But the original beat for that you sent your reference track over, the session is going, man. I wasn't good when I first got my MK3 about actually labeling and saving the samples. I would just record them, cut them, make the song, so, but yeah, I just gotta, be better about doing that. And I think as far as other things you might have, yeah, I do that a lot. Like with Ruff, Ruff, I'll hear something. And he's, I think out of the people that I work with, he's probably he's the closest to the mainstream in his sound. You know what I'm saying? So like if I experiment with like some drill sound and stuff with some trappish kind of stuff, and I can send that to him and, he can get it right. You know what I mean? So it really depends. It really
Yeah.
depends on the artist.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel that as well because I may do that and send a beat to. I work with a couple of artists before. Guy named Smokey Johnson here out of Dallas, another guy out of Louisiana named M.A. And in fact, me and Smokey did a EP about 2 years ago, and that's kind of how it got started. Sent him some beats. He went to the site and told me what he liked, what he didn't like. We just got it going from there. And yeah, sometimes I may end up, even when I'm just in the process of making beats, just kind of think of who might this fit, who might this work well with. Now, as far as like building relationships with different artists, what do you think, or how do you think that dynamic helps you create better music? Just having that chemistry with a certain artist.
It's helped me like make beats that are more geared towards a rapper or MC, or even now with Miss Outlaw to a degree, like a songstress or a singer. Because when a lot of the stuff I threw out was just straight 2.5 minute stream of consciousness, like Wall of Sound. I've heard Just Blaze say, you got to break that up. And, I remember him saying that. I'm like, man, that makes perfect sense because we make beats and we get that fire loop going. But a lot of times we never put those breaks in there to kind of give an MC like yourself or anybody else space to kind of do their thing. And so they could be rapping, but you got all this crap going on in the back that sounded cold with nobody on it. But then once you get somebody on it, like you don't know what the hell they're saying because they're getting drowned out. So it's helped me make those little dips, pockets or whatever in the beat for MCs to get on.
That's a great point because I remember early on, like kind of going back to our conversation we were just having a couple of minutes ago of when I go back to like some of my old beats, I'm talking probably like maybe 10 years and beyond. Like um I used to have a lot of things going on, and you might have too many sounds at one spot, and artists can't really write their verse. And I kind of had to, that's one of the areas that I had to grow in as well, to know how to space out those instruments. And it was actually I went to an I Standard beat camp years ago, and producer S1, who's worked with Kanye and Beyonce to name a few, but he was just
Mm-hmm.
talking about that concept, and he was just mentioning you could have all those instruments in your song, but think about how you want to spread those out throughout the song. You maybe can have some of them playing in a hook and then spread the other ones in either sub hooks or throughout your verses, or maybe in your intro or your outro. And I kind of started thinking about it from that standpoint, and it's kind of helped me make better sequences and better overall tracks. And
Yeah.
because he talked about the need to make maybe different melodies as well and use those throughout the song. And that's just something I put my own work until now. And that was like in maybe like 2015. I went to hear him talk at the I Standard camp. So it's
Okay.
yeah, a lot of producers. I think I don't hear it as much anymore with a lot of people doing that, maybe with some up and coming producers. But yeah, I definitely recommend listen to maybe some of your favorite producers out there and just how they have their tracks arranged and take something from it. But usually you're high, you're mid, you're low, and then your drums, and then you're good from there. And then just kind of think out the box as far as what else you want to add.
One of the things, not to cut you off, but one of the things that made, Jay Dilla so amazing, because if you really, really listen to his beats, like particularly the early stuff he did with Tribe,
yeah,
like he had pretty much one solid loop for the whole song, but like where
yeah,
he would have a spot for Q-Tip rapping, he would drop like the over the top high part, and Tip would just be rapping over the low part of
yeah,
the same loop. It's the same loop. He didn't flip it or anything like that. It's just, the high is gone.
man.
He made a
Yeah,
pocket for him.
that's crazy, man. That's like that. And sometimes like when I'm doing beats that are kind of just like a loop, I may even chop up certain sections and have it kind of like a repeater or a stutter effect at one part, and then kind of get the beat going again, just to kind of create just some variety within the melody of the song. So yeah, you're absolutely correct, man. I want to get into next moving at a different speed, April
Yeah.
22nd.
Oh
uh
yeah.
yeah, so we came a long way from it. It was like, I think right after Christmas, yeah, it reached out to me. Maybe it might have been even a little bit after the new year. And
Mm-hmm.
you approached me with the concept of wanting to do this project. And first I want to say I do appreciate you for doing that. One, just seeing that, we had something there with the Out of Place song, and we kind of built upon off of that as we move forward. Because me also being a producer, like mainly a producer, I've never, in all the years that I've been doing production, this is kind of like the first time, even like on the last album, The Mixer, I never really got a chance to work with another producer in that way. And I felt like, this would be kind of fun from the standpoint of just, I almost think about like somebody handing you the keys to the car and say, take us there kind of thing. Cause it helped me think outside the box in terms of creating, because I'd never done anything like that before. And it challenged me for one, because I also never really came out with albums that were that close apart. I think I did November and then started working on this one in January. So it kind of kept me going in a way. I mean, I took off December, but right after the first of the year, just starting out to work on this album as well as starting a podcast. And it's kept me
Mhm.
busy throughout the process, man. Just from afar, and all the songs that I sent to you and just kind of working together. What's that kind of been like on your end? In fact, what's it, just thinking about starting this project, how did you come about just reaching out to me on getting this project started?
Man, yeah, that Out of Place joint, it smacks. But that wasn't what did it. It was actually, remember the remix of that I sent
Oh
you.
yeah, yeah.
I was making beats, and a lot of times when I'm making beats, I throw, like we were just talking about the pockets, I'll grab an acapella to see, if it's a nice pocket for it. And I was making that particular beat for that remix, and your vocals just fit on it so perfectly. That's why I sent it to you. I'm like, man, I wonder what a whole album would sound like of this. So that's kind of what ignited that. I like the fact that you liked it, and then I was like, what, let's see if got to be down to do something, a whole project. So a lot of the beats I sent were in the same vein, or had some similarity to the remix beat that people are going to hear on this project. And actually, like the remix is one of the last songs that's going to be added to this project. But that's kind of what started it. And I just wanted to make sure that the beats not sounded exactly like, but had that same kind of, I guess
Same kind of
you had
vibe.
used it, yeah, the same kind of vibe. You used the term like it sounded more hip hop. So I wanted to kind of create that with us, like a hip hopish kind of album. I didn't want to take it back to the 90s like everybody be saying, but give it a modern hip hop kind of vibe.
Yeah, yeah. I noticed with a lot of the beats, like I kind of lean towards those type of beats, maybe a couple of those also I like to rap on like West Coast beats a little bit. I'm kind of all over the place with it, to be honest, but like it just I heard that variety when I started reviewing some of those tracks. You had sent a lot, and I remember even like towards the end, I had found that beat for uh
Spades.
Spades, yeah,
I
Spades,
love that song.
man. That's one of
You
my
really
favorite joints.
you got on some real militant stuff on that one, man. I like that one.
Man, it just made me vibe. I think like that day, kind of like we was texting back and forth. I think I just got through watching CNN or some shit, and
uh-huh.
it was that shit going on with the judge that just got
Yeah.
added. And then I just started
Uh-huh.
had to write from there, and it just yeah, I was really vibing with that one, man. And I feel like all of those tracks like kind of had that same type of vibe. And then even like Tramp, for example, that beat Tramp that you sent to me, that kind of has a soulful down south bounce to it as well. That's kind of why I like that track as well.
I
Um,
think that's the first one I threw in that folder. I'm like, I know he's gonna dance on this one. So that was probably the first one I put in there.
man, they had a lot of them, man, that I really liked. And yeah, man, I think y'all gonna really enjoy this album. We got 10
Mm-hmm.
tracks coming at y'all, new music, and available on all streaming platforms on the 22nd. And yeah, looking forward also to shooting some visuals. Probably gonna get to those probably in the next month or so, with my guy out here, Richie Jetson. Shout out to Richie Jetson, who did a lot of my
Man,
past
he is
videos.
dope.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. He's dope with it, quick with it. Like, just one of the things I like about working with Rich is he kind of always just scopes out the area. He always thinks about some different things that I may not think about, or maybe you should shoot this way or that way. And yeah, the way he puts it together, man. He did pretty much my last 4 or 5 videos, I think. Is 2020 I went on a like, I think I did 5 videos that year, and then last year I did 3. This year I've done 2 so far. So it's man, we've been working out here, man. And I probably will get Spades at a different speed. Uh those 2 for sure. I'm probably gonna shoot 3 off of the project. I thought about doing something possibly maybe in the studio. Um just like I'm recording a session and doing a video that way. So we'll see. I got some ideas flowing. We'll see where it goes
Okay.
from there. What you got on deck as far as like the rest of 2022? I know we just in April, but you're always working, man.
Well, like I was saying, during that purge of the beats, you know, I came with the one by one thing that's out now, but also, I'm in the process. Once I get done with all our stuff, getting like a beat tape, or like it's kind of like something you would send to like a record company where it's like snippets. So it's gonna be like
Yeah,
maybe a minute to a 90-second snippets, maybe like a 25 track beat tape I'm gonna put out there, or just like
yeah,
snippets of some good stuff. And normally when I put out beat tapes, I tend to hold back like what I consider my A1 stuff, but I think this one is gonna have like a lot of the A1 stuff on there. It's kind of like an audition tape a little bit. So that, and then Ruff, he he got a bunch of my beats and he's doing like a concept album. I know that's something you don't hear a lot these days,
yeah,
where what I'm saying, he's just like he's a scumbag pretty much in the album, so like he's a real, piece of dirt, out here doing a bunch of stuff he shouldn't be doing. But then, it reaches the consequences at the end of the album. So I just love the fact that it's something, it's just not, it's a concept album, something you don't hear about these days. So that's going to be a bunch of songs over my beats. And what makes this different is it's kind of like a mixtape in the fact where he's not rapping, he's rapping over my beats, which is, makes it original, but he dropped in verses from like known artists that
yeah,
he didn't technically work with. So you might hear like a Dirk or somebody like that on it, but he just puts it on there to go with the feel of the song. So it's like a mixtape compilation, original music album all in one. So I know people, I gotta lay it out there so people hear it. They don't think that, oh, he's actually with these people, rapping with them. No, it's not gonna
yeah.
be like that. It's like I said, it's got a lot of mixtape elements to it. So
Okay, all
looking
right,
forward to seeing the reception for that.
man. Definitely gonna be looking out for that. One of the
Yeah.
things that I wanted to kind of dig into that you just said is beat tapes, man. How important do you think that is for producers to put out beat tapes? Because one of the things that kind of goes around in producer communities is a lot of guys, they make beats, but they just sit on their computers and they're not selling them online. They're not sending them to artists. They're not doing anything with them. They're just sitting on their computers. And me personally, like I can tell you from releasing beat tapes in the past, I actually ended up like selling beats or working with new artists because I've released beat tapes. So that's how it kind of helped me. But how important is it that you think producers should put out beat tapes?
Man, I used to go back and forth with that, be like, man, I think it'd really be dope. But then I'd be like, I don't want nobody to steal my stuff, so let me put this watermark on it. Or, nobody's listening, nobody cares. But now I'm at the point where, Conway Machine ain't walking through this door right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or Jay-Z or whoever people like ain't walking through that door. They're gonna have to, normally people will stumble upon your stuff where you gotta pass it to somebody who can pass it to somebody. So the only way that's gonna happen is if you're, being proficient in your work, you're putting stuff out. And I just feel like, life is too short, man. I don't want to sit on this stuff. They come find me in my studio with a terabyte full of beats that nobody never heard before. You know what I'm saying? So I'm putting it out, man. That's kind of how I am now. Just even if it never blows to the level of those guys who I just mentioned, you know what I'm saying? I left a mark. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, man. I totally agree. You got to get it out. And that's also another reason I may put some of my beats like on YouTube, for example. And I'll go sometimes through the like analytics portion of YouTube and I see like people have my beats added to their playlist. And I'm like, okay. So I think about like how many of those people also on other platforms have a lot of my instrumentals added to their playlists or their collection, and they like to go through and listen to my beats. And true, it may never blow up to the magnitude of making me a millionaire or beyond, but just the fact that I left my mark out there and people love the art that I put out, it means a lot to me personally. And it also like means a lot from the standpoint of how we listen to music, why we listen to music, because we like it, because we like a certain song. And just the fact that I can help create a mood with somebody, that's a positive thing, also goes a long way, because the fact that they like my music, man. So yeah, you can't just let it sit on your computer. Yeah, so we got moving at a different speed on April 22nd. Go
So
ahead, cop
22nd.
that. Go ahead, give your social media platform handles.
All right, it's all the same everywhere at Ruqone Beats, Ruqone Beats. You know, so you can find me on TikTok. I've been trying to, get my TikTok up as far as like posting music videos. I ain't doing nothing
You
crazy
gonna
and no
dance,
dances
bro?
and no shit on, nah, none of that shit. So I'm just, posting stuff me here in the lab, making beats and stuff. So that's where you find me on Instagram. Twitter, Twitter is more so, as that's kind of for like, that's the sports side of me that comes out
Yeah,
on there. So I promote like work that I'm doing, but that's like 3-4 sports. So if you want to hear my rants of a madman about sports and stuff, you can follow me on Twitter as well. But mostly, you're going to see me on Instagram or on TikTok with the music stuff and a little sprinkle of it on Twitter as well.
yeah, man. I totally feel you on that, man. And you got any shout outs?
Oh man, shouts out to you first of all, bro. Thank you, for accepting my invitation to do this album, man. I was kind of nervous. I didn't, nobody is 100% sure people will say yes to that stuff, but I figured I'd ask. You said yeah, and not only if you said yeah, but the stuff that you sent back has been so quality, man. And it's like
Thank you.
I really think this is going to be like a really, really, really dope project, And so, and then I can't wait to see the videos. That's just the way that one video, the video for Out of Place, enhanced that song to me. It was just breathtaking. Like a lot of folks up here in Chicago were really messing with it when they saw it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Man.
everybody here, we got people down south, so everybody was loving the accent. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, he's from Texas and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So people trying to figure out where you came from and all that. So you build a decent little following of people in my circle up here. So just man, shout out to you for that. Shouts out to of course, Rough. You know what I'm saying? We always doing stuff. We like I said, the Mission the project we got coming. I got another partner up here, Plex. He does a lot of music videos. So if you're ever in town, want to get that Chicago vibe to a music video, we got a guy in town for that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Yeah, just shouts out to the whole, hip hop community, people we mess with mutually, like my man Calvin out there in Florida. I pass him a lot of stuff that I do, and he gives me honest critiques on it. He doesn't sugarcoat, and I respect that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to tell me how great I am. I want you to say, yeah, you could have did this there, or I can't hit a drum, or why isn't somebody rapping here, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So he gives me a lot of that. I look for a lot of unbiased opinions when I, give people previews and stuff. And I'm going to send them a preview of our thing, let it, get his feedback on that. So that's the shout outs I got right now. Shout outs to my man Ezekiel the Prophet. We're working on it's going to come to fruition either late this year or next year. Hardcore grimy shit full length album.
Yeah.
So I sent him a couple beats yesterday towards that, and it's in the infancy stages, but we're gonna see how that goes.
Man, first and foremost, definitely appreciate the love. And yeah, I gotta definitely pull up on y'all sometime in the near future, man. Come out there, maybe see if we could set up a show or something, and
Oh
maybe
man,
do a
I'd love it.
video or something as well, man. Never been in Chi-Town before, so I would definitely look forward to that. And yeah, man, shout out to Calvin, shout out to Ezekiel, shout out to Miss Outlaw, shout out to Rough Draft. And it was a pleasure to work with you on this project. And if any time in the future, if you want to work again, definitely feel free to reach out. I'd love to work with all of the names that I just listed as well. Maybe on that podcast album that I was posting about, maybe we can kind of get something going there. We're gonna kind of chop it up about that later. But yeah, I want to just put in some more work throughout 2022, and we'll see where it takes us from here, man. I'm looking forward to releasing this a lot, because just like you, a lot of people ask me who produced Out of Place, and I told them you did, and they were vibing with it as well, and it was something that one of the things that I kind of thought about when I was making my last album, The Mixer, is I wanted to also going forward, not just have all of my beats, but also maybe start working with one or two other guys that, in addition to what I'm doing, just to kind of give it a different sound throughout the whole project. And, I think that formula has kind of helped me grow as an artist and a producer for one. And, I look forward to doing more work from there. So the next album, moving at a different speed, April 22nd, all streaming platforms. It's your boy
Mm-hmm.
D Dot. You can follow me on Instagram at D._major music, as well as Twitter at D.mme. And yeah, appreciate the love. Looking forward to more episodes of the Major Music Lounge podcast. Catch this episode not only on YouTube, but you can catch all the other episodes on all podcast streaming platforms. It's your boy D Dot. It's your boy Ruqone, and we are out.